Welcome back to the point of it all with Jamie and Trevor. I'm Jamie and he's
Trevor.
How's it going, man?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. So you just got some news on the Hyperkin. What was it?
Hyperkin N64 Clone. Basically,
Clone.
It's one of the first Nintendo 64, I guess you could say, retro type systems. It's going to have HDMI built into it. Some of the details are still sketchy. I think more is going to be announced at E3 here in the coming weeks. E3, I think, is what, next week? So you're going to have more details announced on if it's going to be maybe more software emulation, hardware emulation, because there's some things that still are not known about it. Is it going to work with the EverDrive cartridge so you can use your cartridge with ROMs on it on the SD card, or do you have to have an actual live N64 cartridge? But either way, what I find exciting about it is if you get this first one, odds are you're going to have other copycats, and the hope is that you get a high-grade one built by a company like Analog, or I know there's a retro USB that, made AVS model that made the NES that are based on FPGA programming, the field programmable chips. So, you might be able to get one someday that's built on, the true N64, authentic experience, as opposed to just a software emulation that Hyperkin has done in the past. So,
right.
We'll get more details in the coming week here, but I think it's promising that you've got something coming out here finally that we, the first N64 system, didn't require expensive upgrades to use HDMI. So promising. So that's been the one console that's kind of been left behind in, all these other ones that have come out that use HDMI, can work with the EverDrive cartridges and things like that.
I can speak from experience regarding HDMI, or the need for it, and the N64, because I bought an EverDrive cartridge, and I was so stoked to get this thing, man. Hooked it up to my TV though, with the composite cords that the 64 comes with anyway. It's just garbage. Really, the quality is almost unplayable, and I was so disappointed because I had all these games I can't really do anything with. In fact, I actually went online like OfferUp or Craigslist to try to find an old CRT TV just to play these games. And I realized, do I really want to do that? I'll just wait for a better solution. I'll keep an EverDrive cartridge, still have the cartridge, and I'll wait for an HDMI device. Hopefully, this Hyperkin device would be compatible with the Ever 64.
Yeah, there's definitely thought so far it's going to be like Hyperkin's past systems, that there's going to be more software emulation. So it probably, if I had to guess right now, will not work with EverDrive. But the promising part is,
why do you say it won't?
Well, the past software emulation systems, whether it's been NES or SNES or any of those, have not worked with EverDrive unless they were based on an FPGA chip, I believe. So, I mean, I personally have had the Analog NT Mini, which was the NES system, and I've got the analog system that's the Genesis analog system and the Super Nintendo. Those both work with the EverDrive cartridges, but those are both FPGA. So, that's kind of the thought there is, I think the FPGA is required, I believe, to work with EverDrive. So, we'll see. But I think in E3 you'll get some more details. I don't know if they'll know that kind of detail, but hopefully in the coming months you get those other details. And also, too, you also get other people making them and potentially making a high-end one by a company like Analog that, it may cost $200 or $300, but, if it does with the EverDrive cartridge, everything like it's supposed to, and then you become like 8BitDo making a wireless controller for it.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, I love my Retron 5 by Hyperkin. I mean, that thing, I know it's software emulated, but it does a really fantastic job. Now, you need one original cartridge when you want to play. But if you want to play a Sega Genesis game on the Retron 5, you need an actual Genesis cartridge before to play any ROMs. It's the same for all the consoles as well. But once you get it set up and running, man, I gotta be honest. HDMI and the old consoles just look phenomenal. It really cleans up the jagged lines, and I'm really impressed by the Retron 5. Really impressed. The controller is total garbage. But other than that, it's a pretty sound emulating system.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, we'll see more details, but definitely promising.
Do you have a release date yet, or is there a release date?
What's that?
Is there a release date yet?
No release date yet. I think, like I say, E3 will probably be when you start to see stuff. I'm going to guess probably Q4. A lot of that stuff seems to come out right before the holidays.
Interesting. Well, I'll keep my eyes out for it. I'm sure you will as well.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, that's all we got tonight. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow, probably. Later.
Take care. Bye-bye.